I have my friend Jillian here.
Hello.
We met at Daydream, and that was so cute. We met at a local coffee shop, and you approached me, and it was so fun. And then now we're friends, and I love it.
History.
The rest is history. You are a textile artist.
I am.
Fun fact, you made... If you're watching YouTube, she made this sweater that I'm wearing, and your sweater.
I did.
And my bow.
I know. You came in all the gear.
I had to. I was like, she's showing up. I got to support my girl. And I also like genuinely, I love this because it's like the perfect chunk, you know?
Yeah. No, that's a good cotton. I feel like it's like lightweight. I feel like for spring, I'm trying to figure out where do I need to go next? Because
I know
the wool is not it in California.
The wool, the beanies. I know. Well, I feel like last year the winter lasted for way too long. So you never know.
We're ready for another.
We're ready. We can't handle 50-degree weather. But yeah, I'm so excited to have you on because I want to talk about. I mean, I like to have a mix of like business, creativity, stuff like that on the pod. So it'll be fun to talk to you about both.
I know.
Because you are a creative and you have your own business. Shout out to Junk Drawer, which is like the cutest name. And I want to hear about how you came up with that name too.
Yes.
But yeah, do you want to give yourself like an intro, a professional intro?
Yes. So I'm Jillian. I go by Jill as well. Whatever you want. So Junk Drawer is a knitwear sewing. I don't know. Sewing, knitting, I do a little bit of everything. Crochet, upcycling. I use a lot of vintage textiles, recycled yarns. I kind of make a little bit of everything. I basically just like was experimenting and just like whatever comes out at the end, I'm like, great. So it's kind of a Mod Podge of everything. That's kind of Junk Drawer. I work full time, so it's like a dream of mine to do it full time one day. And it's just figuring it out and it's kind of just evolved. Like it's evolving. I feel like it's evolving this month, next, like it's just growing so fast. So it's exciting.
Yeah. And I definitely want to talk more as we go along with our conversation about the reality of like being a creative sometimes is like you do have to have a full-time job while you're making like your side job, like hopefully your full-time job. But before we get into that, I want to ask, like, I love asking people like, what inspires you? Like what inspired you to first off become like a textile artist and then also like what inspired you to like pursue that professionally?
Yeah. Textile artist and professional. These are all big words. I'm like, I've never used these.
Barely.
I'm trying. I guess we could call it that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have so funny. When I was little, this is how I started. I'm going to go back to like when I started knitting.
Take us back.
Okay.
I love it.
I'm going to take us back. So when I was little, my little sister and we had these like little like miniature bears and we would make clothes for them. And we would like sew, like I was homeschooled. I went to this like Montessori school. So we learned like, I learned really little, like here's a button and you put it on a piece of fabric and this is how you stitch it on. And so from when I was little, I thought it was very normal to like, all right, we're just going to make it. Like I never, like it wasn't like, let's go buy our bears little outfits. It's like, let's go sew them a little outfit. So we'd, hand stitch, whatever. So that's kind of like my creative, like it started so young when I was, I'd say like 8, like it was like so little. So I know, crazy, like, and like American
8-year-old knitting these little things.
So cute. That's precious. I look back and I'm like, I have this little, like, I should go find it and bring it out here. But like, I like all my American Girl doll clothes, like totally like, it's like, and it's so like not good when I'm looking back, but I'm like, this is the roots. This is the way I started. And so I started there and I started like getting into knitting. I started like knitting scarves. When you start knitting, it's like, they're not straight. They are like continue to like increase. And then it's like, but I just like started doing that and I knit little like mini figurines. Like it was just so like, I know.
Bring them back.
Maybe I need to sell like a figure.
I would buy
it's like
them.
a little garden gnome. Like I did like little,
like little things are just so cute.
So much cuter than big things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where I started knitting, but the idea for starting Junk Drawer, I feel like clothing has always been something that I would express myself. It's something I could control. It's something that like you can't control your hair color. You can't control literally anything, but like I can control what I put myself and what I feel best in.
And it's such an expression of art too.
So
how you dress.
Yes. And I don't think I feel like I grew up in Minnesota, like the Midwest. I don't feel like art and like making and creating, I don't know, at least where I grew up, I don't feel like it was super like I feel like athletics is all the rage in Minnesota, and that's what I grew up with. Like, so I think it was tricky to like transition and take myself seriously. And so like the business idea like kind of came naturally, where I was like, one day I was like, I had my therapist tell me, they were like, okay, if no one, you know, like I was talking about wanting to do this thing, and she was like, okay, like if no one bought your stuff, like would you still do it? Like, do you love it enough to still do it? And I was like, yeah. Like it took me weeks and months to be like, yes, I want to do this.
Yeah.
When I came to the point of like, I'm not doing this because of what I want to grow. Like, I just love knitting. I love sewing. I love crafting things. I love making things out of nothing. I feel like I was like, all right, I'm ready to take this.
Yeah.
So I just created an account, and I've, you know, slowly growing, stepping back, taking steps forward. And now I feel like I'm in a place where I'm just like, I really like the idea of like, I really want to make things where people can express themselves. I'm a textures girly. I love making things that I'm like, it feels good. Like all my friends will tell you, like I'm the first person to just like wear cozies, like right when I rock into my house, like end of the day, it's like, I'm going to get my sweats on, my knits, whatever. And so I think a goal of mine is like people express themselves and are cozy in my things. That's kind of,
I love that. It feels like I'm wearing this right now. It feels like I'm like in a hug. Like I'm wearing a hug.
Kind of the goal.
Now.
That's kind
of
like
that.
Yeah, I love that too. Like it's so fun. Like when I hear stuff like that, like it's just it's like, and so inspiring to me, because I'm like, oh, like to make someone like when someone's like, I don't look good in beanies, my goal, I'm like, no, we're gonna make it. Like here's 5 different styles, and like when they look at themselves and they're like, oh my gosh, I feel so good.
Yeah.
It's like oh cool, like that's sweet.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I love that. Also, I don't know if I told you this, but like, so we met at a coffee shop, I think like last spring. It was a while ago, right?
It's been a second.
It's been yeah. And then we gave each other our numbers, and we're like, let's hang. And then like neither of us ever said anything after that. But then I went to
No, did you have me over for dinner? No, that was
after. I invited you over, I think like after. But what's funny is I attended an event, and like a content creator event. I forgot what it was. It was with Aisha, who does Less is More.
Yes.
And you had blue bows in there, and it said junk drawer, and I was like, this is so cute. And it was like, I'm not gonna be that girl that's like, I started wearing bows early, but literally I've been wearing bows since like 2020. I
coined this.
Yes. Yeah, I'm like, actually the Latinas did. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you see like indigenous women in Oaxaca and stuff, like they have the bows down. But and that's actually what inspired me to start wearing bows, because that was when my hair was long. But anyways, okay. So then I had your bows. And I was like, these are cute. I'm going to put them in my hair. And I didn't know for the longest time that was you until like months later.
Well, and you came up to me at Semi-Tropic and you were like, Jill, I didn't know you were like,
I didn't know you were you.
I came up to you, I was like, I don't even know because we put our numbers in each other's phone, and I was like, okay, yeah, like we were getting married. I think that was like
right before you got married.
Got married. So I was like, oh, like I'll check back in like a couple months. We're just like kind of busy right now, but like and then when you were, I was like, oh, I don't even know if you'll remember. Like, and then
because you were a vendor at a market,
correct,
at a local wine bar. Okay,
and
then I ran into you, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. Like you're married now, and that's so funny. And I was like, wait, you're a junk drawer. I have your bows. I was like gifted them at an event. So it's funny. Everything's like full circle.
So full circle.
But yeah. So that was like a funny little like, oh, I don't know, put that together. But
so sweet.
But your stuff is honestly like, I feel like it's like stuff I can wear like year round. Like I'm a sucker for a sweater. Like I will always be wearing a sweater or a cardigan.
Yep.
I get cold easily.
I need to be cozy. I need to be bundled. I need to be hugged.
And what's funny about like cozy clothing, like for me, like I love wearing like comfy clothes as soon as I get home.
Yep.
But I am not one to wear them out. Like I don't know why. I just like, I don't want to look like a Newport mom.
You are always like fitted. Like you walk in a daydream. I'm like, I'm like crusty in my sweatpants, and you're just like, you got like your little like, yeah,
crusty,
like I feel like
your sweatpants.
No, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I just had like a early morning, like 6. I'm like, oh, meet me at DJ at like 7 for like coffee before work, and I'm just like rolling out of bed, and you're like in your sparkly little flats, like. So cute. It kind of inspires me. I'm like, I need to wear like more earrings. Like, I feel like your accessory gang, like it's so good.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
Anyways,
I know. I don't know why, but it's funny because the second I walk through the front door of my house, I get so overstimulated wearing my clothes, which is funny because my daughter does the same thing. Like when she comes home from school, she's so cranky and she literally tells me, I need to be in my room for 5 minutes. And she goes alone and then comes out and she's wearing like PJs. And I'm like, and it's funny because my dad came over recently. He's like, you did the same thing as a kid. And I still do that as an adult. I'm like overstimulated and grumpy, and then I change. And I'm like, okay, so it's a lot of pressure accessorizing in the public eye.
Okay, but have you heard of the thing where it's like wearing clothes versus styling? Like wearing them is like one thing. And so sometimes I'm like, sometimes I do wear my clothes. And then, but I feel like you always are like, I'm going to style this today.
Thank you. Yeah. I really appreciate that. Well, like, yes. So that's what I love about the things that you make is like I can still be comfortable and like still accessorize or like be myself, but it feels just as cozy.
That's great.
I love that. I love that for me. I love that for you. So so that's like cool that you've just been like doing it, and it's cool to see how much has been coming, because that was like a year ago when that happened. But I would love to know, because on social media we follow so many businesses, so many creatives, and it looks like people like are doing it really well, which for the most part they are. Right. But then there's this whole other side where it's like, I'm working, I have a full-time job. I'm in the corporate world. I'm in sales, like whatever. Like, what is the balance for you between like the two jobs?
Yeah. Well, knitting is there's not much margin in knitting. Like, let's be real. It's not the like thing you do when you want to go make bands. I still feel weird about like charging people. Like it's like a weird one. Like it's just weird. But as far as balance goes, I feel like when I started, like the last year, I'd say I'm taking this pretty serious. Like I'm like, okay, I actually want to like legitimately, this is my passion and I'm going to see it through. But I'm also working full time. I just got married. I am like, I mean, it's just like so hard, like working for even just that, like stop at that, like 40 hours a week, you get home, like, I'm like, okay, I want to have like dinner with my husband and like, oh, friends. And then there's like, all the layers. It's like, when the heck am I going to knit like a sweater that takes me 10 hours? Like, so that's like, even just like time constraints. I think that is so like, it just is a struggle. Like, I feel like, I don't know if there's ever going to be enough time in the day, but like figuring out, just like prioritizing, like, okay, in the morning, I need to go work out before I get to like sign on to my 9 to 5. And then like on my lunch break, I'm going to like take a break and knit, and like just like little things like that. Like just I'm a planner, so I think that's how I get it all done in a week. Like, and I'm also just like, I think as far as like I think another struggle is like comparison in it's a whole thing. But yeah, just like comparison and like, oh my gosh, like I'm working full time and I'm side hustling, and like who else is doing this, or like, oh, they get to do it full, you know. It's tricky to be like like to see the finish line of like, okay, end goal I'd love to do this, but right now I'm balancing. And so I've found a lot of solidarity in like chatting with other people with their business and be like, okay, like real talk, how are you doing? Like, how are you doing this? And like, I feel like that's been my like a really comforting thing for me, of like finding friends that have their businesses and are like Justine, or like just like other people we have here in Costa Mesa. I feel like I'm just like, I need to hear the struggles from someone else too, because I'm like, wait, so it's not just me and I'm not alone. I don't know.
And it always looks so different online, or like if you're selling at a market or an event, it just looks so different in that lens versus like what's actually happening.
Right.
And I feel like the balance, like I'm telling myself, like this is actually what my therapist told me a while ago, but like my like capacity always looks different. So like there are some weeks where there's a good balance between like creative job and then full-time job, and then there's other weeks, and I'm going through one of those right now, where it's like my creativity is like all I'm thinking about, almost to the point where it's like I'm so inspired that I'm exhausted, because I'm thinking about all these projects that I want to do. And I'm someone, I don't know if you're like this, I'm someone that like wants to do everything. I'm a say yes person. I'm like, let's go. Like, let's
and you need to do it then. Like I was telling you, I was like, I literally haven't left my house because like I need to just like get these ideas out. And like, I think for knitting, I'm like, I need to see the project through. So like, I need to knit this whole thing. Like, and it takes a while. Like, it's like, it's not just like it, boom. It's like, same with sewing. It's like creating your own patterns. It's just such a frustrating process. But I'm like, I need to see this. Like you said, like, I'm just, obsessed with that. But
it's hard.
So
hard. And yeah, I mean, shout out to the people who are doing like both jobs. And
seriously,
I'm like super grateful and lucky that I'm in a spot where I get to just like do it. But I also have amazing, like 5 million different creative jobs. I was just telling my producers, like I met with like, I'm like talking about this, that I met with a band right before you and I started recording. I had like a meeting with them. They want to hire me for photos, which like now I'm like doing like musicians and bands photos, which is kind of fun.
I love that.
But then I'm asking them like, do you guys need help with social media? Do you need help with events? And I'm like networking for them. And I'm like I need to turn this off. I don't have the time, but I can also make time. But I'm like, I don't have the time to be like doing this. But it's just like, I get so excited hearing about like other people's visions and like their dreams. And I'm like, let's do it. Like,
I feel like we're within like a hub. I feel like literally you walk into a coffee shop and you're like, there's like 5 people like, oh, like, hey. And each one of them, I'm like, I want to hang out with you. Like, and I want to like create things with you. And like, let's do a collab. And like, how do I, like, I'm seriously like, I feel that so hard right now. Like how to say no.
We're both
to good things. I know.
I'm like, I just want to see everyone thrive and everyone like pursue their creativity.
Oh, you're so good at that. Yeah. You're so good at that. Oh, but, I love that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it really is a hard balance. And I feel, for me personally, it's just, it's going to look different every week. Like when I think I have it down, I'm like, nope, it's going to be so different next week. Like whatever I'm doing now is not going to work next time. So it's just hard. But do you find what's this question that I'm about to ask? Do you find it hard? Because so you love to like knit for fun. That's like, is that like your go-to, like when you want to just like, when you want to break from everything?
Yeah, I'd say honestly, I feel like sewing is more of like my therapy, like
sewing,
which is weird because like I think it's the one thing that I can do very like more thoughtless than like if I go to yoga class. Like I feel like I can sit with my sewing machine and then like it's like a time warp. Like Brayden comes in, it's like dark outside and he's like, hey, what have you been like? He's been gone for like 8 hours. I'm like, I just finished this shirt. Like, I'm like, and I'm like, how long have I been here? Like, it's really been 8 hours. And like, I just finished a button up, like, or like, so I'm just like, so I feel like sewing is like, when I'm in the zone, it's like, all right, once I get myself in my chair, I feel like sometimes that's the hardest part. Is like, all right, like I'm not just gonna binge. I love TV and movies. We've talked about this.
Yes.
Film girlies. But I'm like, I feel like sewing is something, but like even like for fun, I don't know what it is. Knitting, I think it's easy. I feel like everything I knit is honestly for fun, except for when it's like a repetitive thing that I have to like, or deadlines I've made for myself that I'm like, you have to do this. If I'm just doing like, I don't know, like I feel like all my patterns are very like one-off, so it feels like everything's like, this is a really fun, exciting it stays exciting because it's one of one,
right?
So when it gets repetitive, I'm like, this is why I don't do a ton of each style.
No, I feel that. What like inspires you to like bring, I don't know, I'm so tripped out by people that can like make things with their hands, because I'm not creative in that way. Like for me, I'm a visual like person, so like if I see it, I can piece together what I want it to look like, but I need to have the things there. Like if I go to a photo shoot and I see like the thing, like the props or whatever, sometimes I can like bring it up from my own brain, but I just physically and mentally cannot grasp the idea that people literally have a vision in their mind of something they're going to create, and then they bring it to life with their hands. Like I cannot sew to save my life. So like what inspires these designs that you come up with?
Okay, well, first of all, I've heard that there's like a percentage of people that like you close your eyes, I see black. I don't see any, like I don't visualize things. Like I've heard that that's like a weird thing. Like I cannot see any color. Like it's weird. But like I've heard that that's like not normal. And I've talked to it's like I heard it's like 8% of people like when you're like closing your eyes, okay, like let me picture Jillian. Like I can't do that. Like I cannot picture anything. So honestly, the only way for me to make it happen is like to put it together myself. Like honestly,
maybe
weird.
That's like, I don't know. We're like reversed.
I think so.
Because I'm like, I can close my eyes and I can see it for the most part. But I like my hands do not compute with my mind. Like I'm like, I cannot like do this, or like even designing clothing. Like I like, it'd be so cool to do that because I am a fashion girly, but I'm also like, I physically cannot. Like, how does that happen? Like, what inspired you to like make this, for example?
Yeah. Okay. So that I really like. I love ribbed things. Like I have all these like ribbed towel. Like I love ribbed. So I wanted to figure out a ribbed. I figured out that stitch. I just started like, my first iteration of it was like 2 big like squares, and then I was like, okay, I really like a neckline on it. I really like it slimmer here. So that was kind of that. I literally the thing that inspired that was like, I like ribbed texture.
Yeah.
But like, as far as like, okay, so when I'm working my 9 to 5, I have a sketchbook right next to my, like I have a work and I have a sketchbook, and this sketchbook is like, I have one with all my patterns, and I have another sketchbook that has like any sketch that I'm like, oh, I really like a split right here, or like, what would that look like? And I just draw it. And I'm a horrible drawer. Like I'm not like an artist at all in that way, but like I get the idea, and I'm able to like, when I have a shape that I want to accomplish, I can make a pattern of that shape, because I've just been knitting for so long that it's like, or sewing, like I'm like, okay, I need this much fabric. I don't know. It's just,
that is so cool to me. Like so trippy. I'm like, that you can do that. Even if it's like, oh, I don't draw well, but just like, I'm like, that's like so crazy.
The idea, because I know I'll knit and pull it off, but like if it's like, okay, like I've been really wanting like I don't know, it's just like, what does my body feel most comfortable in? I really like the wide sleeve, like I just like comfort and end of day. And then for colors, I like, you can see that in kids books, or like literally I feel like Costa Mesa is so pretty. Like there's places you go, like I'm inspired at coffee shops. I'm like, oh, I really like red and blue, or like, what does that look like? And so I like take yarn swatches and kind of put them all next to each other, and I feel like that like ends up starting to like roll an idea. I don't know.
Yeah. That's so. Yeah. That trips me out hearing you say that you like sketch it. I love that though. Like that you just like keep this journal with you.
You should try it.
I do the same. Well, I have like 50 million journals. Like one is like my photo journal, and then one is like my podcast journal, which the photo journal is more the one that's like, this is what I'm envisioning, and this is what I'm going to be like writing. Like literally the other night we were in bed at like 9 p.m. and then I like bounced out of bed, and Zach's like, what are you doing? I was like, I just had a vision. I need to write it down. And he was like, okay. But it's funny. I like write my ideas out, but then I go make mood boards for like the things that I actually want to work on. Like, okay, what are the colors? And it's not always like pictures of people, but like, what are the colors? Like, what's the song? Like what textures. So I guess like I don't know, it's
and like I feel like everyone, when you're walking throughout your day, like you're inspired by things, and you just like, it's a subconscious thing, like you don't even know you're being inspired. It's and you're true. Like, okay, yesterday, like you sometimes you can pinpoint it, but sometimes you're just like, I like this color, and maybe there's a reason why, maybe there's not, but like, you know,
I know it really is cool. There's inspo everywhere. It's like exhausting to feel that. I feel like you and I relate, like we're both like such feelers and like take everything in around us. And I love that, and I hate that about myself, because in life everything feels like so exhausting. Like I find meaning. Me and my friend Keith were actually talking about this a few episodes back, where we're like, it's so hard, like overthinking, like everything has depth. And he was like, sometimes it's just like a bag blowing in the wind, and we're like, what does it mean? But it's cool, because they're like, I honestly love being like a creative. Like there's so much beauty and everything, and even though it's exhausting to not turn that part off, like I'm going to bed, I don't know if you do this too, I'm like in bed trying to go to sleep, and I'm like thinking about all these things that I like want to create or bring to life, and I'm like, shut up, like I don't need, I want to go to bed.
My notes app is like, it's a dark place. It's like so many notes, and they're so chaotic. We should share
notes to each other. I want to see everything,
bro. That is like deep. That is next level.
That's so cute.
Honestly, that would be really sweet.
It would be really sweet. I know. I have like,
but like half of them don't make sense. You know, it's like a quick like little like it's just like a little note. You know, it's not like it's not super cohesive or anything.
That is so funny. I feel like that's why we're film girlies too, is because like we get so inspired by like colors and people and things.
Totally.
But
I feel like this is a new era for me. I feel like we got the unlimited movie theater, whatever, and I'm like, I am ready. Like I love it. I feel like the emotion and it's so the story. It's there.
It's there. I get very inspired by like movies and music. I'm like, I don't know. It's so crazy. It's so fun. Love it. But I love that for you. I love that you're like diving into that. You're inner artist.
I know.
It's so cool.
I needed to breathe.
You're like, I need a break. I'm tired.
I need a break. You can the screen can feel for me. You know what I mean? Like you get a movie that like perfectly encapsulates like what you're feeling. You're like, oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah. I love
so
that.
Good.
What are some, I love starting off with like inspo and I love ending with goals.
Yes.
What are some goals you're working on right now? They can be business or personal.
Well, business wise, I think a goal, like I'm doing a lot of markets the rest of, like the winter portion of spring, I guess. What's February and March? I don't even know. Is that winter?
I don't know.
I think spring starts in March 21st.
I think so. Yeah.
Anyways, just trying to like figure out, my last styles for winter, and do markets. I think sometimes markets can get, as a small business, it's really like online. I feel like everyone's always liking things and commenting, and it's great. And I feel like the support system online is great for me, but markets sometimes are just like a hit or miss. Some days I'm like, oh my gosh, I love meeting people. It's so fun to put faces to, names I've been seeing, but I feel like sometimes it's exhausting. So I'm just like trying to put myself out there,
for sure.
Regardless of what I'm met with. Like I like what I'm doing and I'm open to feedback, but like really just believing in it right now. So that's a goal, is like markets. I think small scale, I don't know how like, so I'm just like diving into ideas for spring, like a home collection or like different little things. I'd love to, it's exciting.
Wait, what would that look like? You don't have to share.
No, so I really want to do pillows, like pillow covers. Like, so I'd really love to do like knit pillow covers that like everyone, like, I feel like every couch needs like a statement pillow on it.
I love that.
I was thinking that. I've been loving quilts. I've been going to all the flea markets. I've been like, Brayden, we have this big like cart we bring to every flea market, and we just pile it with quilts. And I've loved the history, and just like every time there's a quilt, like it's someone's great grandma, like it's someone made that, and like hearing the story has been so sweet. So I've been making like jackets and vests, but slowly it's becoming spring, and there's ways to like, with quilts, there's so much you could do with them. You could do like little placemats or coasters, or like, so I'm just excited about that. Home would be really cool. I really want to, there's this pair of pants I made a while back. I called them like flutter pants. They have like little gathering at the bottom, and like it's like the perfect cotton pants with like a little something at the bottom. Ooh. And I made this pattern, and I really want to go into production with it. Like I'd love to. So I've been chatting with some different, it's just hard figuring out like sustainably, like 'cause my hands, I'm like getting so busy, and I don't want to change it into something bigger if that's not the step that's right for me. So figuring out like ethically, like what do I need, and how can I make it affordable and accessible while also making it really great and high quality. And I believe in whoever's making it with me and alongside me, and how to be involved in that process and not do it in like a cheap way that doesn't align with my ethics. So I don't know. Those are like some smaller, like if that's like pretty deep, or I don't know. Yeah. That's pretty in depth, but I don't know if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, I love hearing about goals, because it gives like me more insight on like how to support, or like even listeners, audience, like, because there's so, like what you said, like liking and commenting on Instagram is like one thing. Like that's how I feel like with photography. It's like, it's so nice like when people share things, but like book me. Like please pay my bills, support me. Like, I'm a starving artist.
No, it's hard, because like I feel like circling back, like I feel like I've been saying yes to all the partnerships and collaborations and all of that, and I'm just like, I love all the yeses I've said yes to. I just like figuring out balance of like not losing myself in those collaborations with someone else. So just trying to figure out like what is like discernment on that. And I don't know. I think that's kind of the goal, is like how to do it well while also like still believing in the dream that I'm wanting to push forward, not like just collaborating with a bunch of people for the sake of that. So it's really weird. But and then personally, I think with all the art and like all the work and like working 40 hours a week, I really like my personal health, and just like making sure my body feels good is literally the last on the list. I really this year want to prioritize my gut health, my like making sure my body is getting what it needs, moving my body, going on my little hot girl walks, like doing that. Like I don't know, I'm trying to advocate more for that. So like Brayden, my husband is like building a bike right now, and he's like, we're gonna go all. I know, he's so funny. Well, it's definitely like building a bike is way more expensive than just like buying a nice bike. He's like, all right, I need this part and this part. It's like a whole thing.
Oh my god!
I guess we're going on bike rides this spring.
Oh, you guys should teach me how to ride a bike. I don't know how.
Oh my!
It's so sad. It's
Val. Braden's gonna hear this and he's gonna come for you. You don't understand what this means. He also is building this one, and so he does have a spare bike. So we're going to get you on that, dude. Back Bay, we could go on little bike rides.
I'm terrified. No. Okay. To be careful with what I promise.
We're vulnerable right now.
Zach has been teaching me, or wanting to teach me, I should say, how to ride a bike since the day he met me, since the day he heard. Maybe that was something I told him the day we met or whatever. Like, I don't know how to ride a bike.
You guys have been married for what, 11 years?
We're going on 11 years, dated, or I guess together since 2011.
And you haven't.
And I'm scared, mostly because like he gets like a teacher voice, and it triggers me. I'm like, don't talk to me like that, because like,
honestly, valid. I feel like because Zach's used that on me as well.
Oh yeah, he just has like a certain teacher voice that I like. It triggers something in me.
Yeah,
I think I was a really bad student in high school, and I don't know how I passed high school. I like cheated on all my things, so I guess that's how.
Yeah,
but like I had a lot of teachers who did not like me. I was constantly in trouble. Like. Literally,
what?
like, yeah.
I do not believe you.
Oh my, what?
I feel like you're like the girl in the like front of the class, like, teacher.
Oh my god, no! I was talking to everyone. I was like, "What's inspiring you today?"
You're right.
You know, it makes more sense, right? I was just like so chatty, and some teachers were like really, really like actually mean to me. Would like call me like stupid and like kind of bully me and stuff. So when Zach gets his teacher voice, like when he's trying to teach me something, I'm like, "Don't tell me what to do," and I get like so crazy. So I tell him like. Because he really wants me to learn how to ride a bike. And so does my son, Hendrix. He's like, because we're about to teach him how to ride a bike. He's like, Mom, how are you going to teach me if you don't know how? And I'm like, you got me there.
Stop. He's totally hit you with that.
I know. Like, came for you to learn. So I'm like, maybe that should be a goal of mine for this year. Gosh. I'm just scared.
You need to.
I feel like learning as a kid is so different because you don't think about all like the scary things. Like you're just focused on like, I'm gonna learn how to ride a bike. And for me as an adult, I'm 31. I'm like, what happens if I hit a car? What happens if I hit a stop sign?
We should go to a cycling class. I could take you to the YMCA, and we could like, there's little bikes. We could go on, and then that'll be starting, and then we'll just learn how to pedal. Okay, and then we'll get to the road.
I'm down. I really want to learn. I just like haven't like come out and said I'm gonna learn how to ride a bike, but
I'm here for
don't hold me to that. I need to like
I will.
I need to eat, pray, love about it before I fully commit. But what were we saying about bikes? Oh, Braden
was building. I don't know how we got there. Personal growth, wanting to be active.
Okay, personal growth, wanting to ride a bike.
Love that. Okay, wait, can I ask you a question?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
How would you describe your style? I feel like like, what are the words you use? I feel like you do it all, but I'm just curious.
I don't know. I'm honestly, I have, that's a good question because I have an interest in everything. Like it's like a strong quality of mine and also like the worst quality of mine. I want to relate to everyone and everything. Yeah. Like I feel like it's like I love sharing experiences. Like I feel like there's depth when I'm able to relate with someone on something. And so that kind of plays into my style. And it's funny because even thinking back in high school, like, I guess you could say I was someone who was like popular. Like I had a lot of friends. I was like, for the most part, like well liked. But I had friends in like every group. So like I was a cheerleader too. So like I had my cheerleader friends. But then I also had like my musician friends who were like the black sheep of the school and would like hang out by themselves during lunch. And I would like go sit with them and be like, what music are we talking about? And then I like dated a few and I dated a few jocks. So I was like kind of in that circle too. And then I was also like with the artsy kids. So with that, I feel like there's a lot of different things that I like that I put into my own style. And so sometimes I like it balanced. Like sometimes I like to be like I like to dress like a 12-year-old boy, like with my sneakers and my long socks. But then I like to like make it feminine, like put a little twist to it, like a bow in my hair, or like pair that with the skirt. So good. Or like I wear a lot of like boots, and I like to wear it with like long, like almost like cargo shorts. You know, I really like to mix both feminine and like tomboy qualities.
Yeah.
And I like just a little bit of everything. So I don't have a specific word.
No, I feel like that is though. Like that is it. Like I'm just curious because I feel like you do that really well. I feel like some, you know, like, but that it just like takes a lot to do. Like you have to have like the right eye to do it, because I feel like you could do it in a way that's just like, no, this is not the.
You're like, what are you?
Sometimes I picture the things you wear. I'm like, you pull it off, but I'm like it's just. I've always been like, oh my goodness, that goes with that. But like, if I don't know, it's just, it's always so good. It's,
I think too, it's like learning how to dress for your body, which like 100%. I've been learning like throughout the years. Like there's some girls who can pull off like so many cool styles that I'm like, I could not. Like I've had 2 kids. My body has changed so much. Like I could never pull that off. And so just like learning to be okay with that, like not needing to like fit into like every category or style, but also like allowing all these like different like interests and styles that I'm attracted to like, okay, how can I make this myself? You know?
Totally.
So
feeling you. Yeah.
Yeah. Some days I'm a cowgirl. Some days I'm like a 12-year-old soccer player. Like it's just,
She does it all.
She does it all.
I'm here for that. That's so good.
But yeah, thanks for asking me that. That's like fun. Do you have a word that you feel like you would describe myself?
I feel like very similarly of like, I look in the mirror. My goal at the end of the day is like, do I feel me? And I'm like, again, like circle back to like, am I comfortable? Yeah. Otherwise I do not feel like, it could be the cutest outfit ever. And I'm like then I don't feel cute. It's just, then it's an internal thing.
Isn't that crazy? Like your gut just knows like if you feel good in it or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I'm like, so I think I did the like Newport neutrals for a while. Like
we all did.
I just coined that.
Yes. Newport neutral. That's a lot better than what I say. I just call it like beach white.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's something like, I'm like, respect. I feel like it wasn't. I looked in the mirror while I was dressing in neutrals and I was like, that's not me.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where I'm like, like I need to figure out. I feel like there's some outfits I do that. Like it's tricky. Like but I think I've just been trying to play around with colors, patterns. I
love how you play with colors.
Thanks.
Like you do it so
it's a new thing. Low key, like the last year, I feel like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just like express myself, because like who's gonna judge me? Like really, truly, if people are judging me, it's like I'm not like now that I'm not in school, I'm like, what does it matter? Yeah. I have my husband. He loves me.
That's so freeing. You know? That is so freeing.
It's freeing. Yeah. Not that matters that I have my husband. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get it. I know. It's really, I feel like for like a long time, like neutrals in everything were like the biggest thing. And it's really cool. And then there was kind of like a random color explosion during COVID where like it was like loud color everywhere, and now it feels like there's like a balance of the two.
It's good. They can live together.
They can coexist.
They can live together, and that's like totally okay. Yeah. I know. I feel like I've been seeing more colors, and I'm like, this is a good thing. Yeah, it's people expressing themselves. It's like, this color looks fun with this color. Like fashion is fun. Like
fashion is so fun, and it's always evolving. And I'm like someone, I don't like to give into like micro trends. Yeah. Because they're just like not sustainable. They're not going to last long. It doesn't feel like, for the most part, they don't feel like myself. And so I feel like this kind of turned into like a style episode even. But I just feel like it's like really cool to like experiment and then to figure out like, is this me or not? Like,
oh my gosh. I feel like when I'm designing clothes, I feel like that's the biggest obstacle of like, maybe it doesn't need to be me when I'm designing, because maybe it's not for me. You know, it's like, or like, how do I design like men's clothes, or like just different things. And also just like, like not falling into the micro trends, because fashion moves so freaking we were just talking about that the other day. Like it is so annoying. Like I'm pissed.
I know. I feel like I can't keep up. And that's why I feel like timeless pieces, like even something like this, like I feel like I can wear it. It's not going to be outdated. Like I feel like I can just wear it so differently. Like maybe I can like style it in different ways that are like more trendy. But for the most part, it's just timeless, and I'm into like all like the timeless, like I'm going to wear this forever, you know?
I know. But the staples.
I know. And that's what would stress me out. Like if I was actually in the fashion industry, like designing, like I would be so stressed out about like what's trendy and like, what's going to sell, or like what can I make that's like going to make other people feel inspired and stuff. But you're doing like such a good job. Thanks. Like
Thanks.
I just love everything you create, like your quilted jackets, like your sweaters, like the bows, like everything. I'm just like, this is so fun.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. You're the biggest hype man. Thanks.
Oh my gosh, always.
I love it.
Me
so
too.
Sweet. This is so fun.
So everyone should check you out on Instagram at Junk Drawer. Yes. And do you have like events listed out?
Yep, I have
Instagram?
events in my bio.
Okay.
I'm trying to be better about my website. It's like just not. I'm like, my forte is making things, and I am a one woman show. Like I am. It's lot. Me. It's me, myself, and I. So but events I'm doing a ton of markets. I'll do them all summer. I'm just figuring out my spring summer dreams, and I have a lot of good things coming out. So
well, we're so excited to see it. We're so excited to like cheer you on, support, buy your stuff, all the things. But
so sweet. This was so fun.
Thank you so much for joining me.
I feel like we needed to catch up anyways. So
I know. This was perfect. Like we'll catch up.
I needed
with
a process.
Yeah, even though I literally saw you the other day. But whenever I see you, we're always like, we have a million things to talk about, and there's never enough time.
There's never enough time.
But it was really cool, like getting to hear your story and bring the gnomes back, bring the little figurines back.
I need to bring those things back. I feel like there will be a collection of like, let's rewind and the Roots collection or something like that. Like we need to.
Oh, that's cute. Oh my gosh, that like literally. Yeah. Did that just come out of your brain right now?
It did. I don't know if it's a good idea.
No, that's great.
But the biggest thing lately has been like, how do I throw away ideas? Because like saying like this is a bad idea, or like I need to work on that. Like I can't just knit just because it took me 10 hours to make it doesn't mean it's good. You know what I mean? Like sorry, I'm just gonna dive into it.
You're like, I have so much to say about this.
Anyways, till next time.
Till next time. Yeah, part 2.
So good.
But thanks so much for joining me. You're awesome, and we'll support you.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yay,
bye. Amigas.